It was 2 a.m. again. I had 10 tabs open: LinkedIn, Glassdoor, my resume doc, a spreadsheet of roles I was tracking, and my inbox full of "we regret to inform you" messages. And the glow of my screen was the only light in the room. I remember thinking, how is job hunting this hard, right? I work with data for a living. I automate everything, the dashboards, reports, metrics, insights. But here I was doing the most manual process of all. Well, trying to get a job. And it wasn't just about rejection, it was about inefficiency. Well, every role that I've applied to, that seeking to apply to as well, they have a slightly different ask. Like every recruiter wants a slightly different version of me. And I'm sure if you have applied to jobs, you know what to do, right? Basically, you have to tweak your resume for every role that you're applying to. I realized that if I wanted to survive this mentally and emotionally, I needed a system. And since I build AI tools for a living, well, I decided to build one for myself. And that's how this all began. My experiment to fix my job hunt with AI agents. Hey, I'm Mukundan, and this is Data and AI with Mukundan, the show where we learn AI by building. In this episode, I'm going to tell you the full story of how I used three AI agents, my researcher, writer, and reviewer, to completely transform the way I applied for jobs. We'll go behind the scenes into how I built them, how they talk to each other, and how they saved me hours of stress every week. But more importantly, I'll share how this process reshaped my confidence, my clarity, and my career direction. Because this isn't just some coding project that I'm trying to do, it's a lesson in self automation, the kind of system that saves us not just time, but also gives us sanity. Well, at least it did for me. So, well, if you ever looked for a job, you know this feeling, right? You wake up, you open whatever job site, say LinkedIn, and suddenly your day disappears. You're comparing roles, copy pasting bullet points, adjusting titles, tweaking phrases like data driven insights for the umpteenth time. And I was in that loop for months. Felt like it wasn't just tiring, it was just completely disheartening. There were days I'd spend 3 hours on a cover letter. Um, and it's not just because I'm just sitting and thinking of what to write, but mostly because I'm procrastinating as well. Only to realize also the application portal wanted a 250 character summary instead. Or was the system would time out and everything I wrote was gone? Now, one night I remember staring at a job description that said, "We're looking for a self starter who can work cross functionally, leverage data to drive growth, and communicate insights clearly." I thought that's literally every job description. And that's when the thought hit me. Why am I doing this manually when I could use AI to do the repetitive parts? If I could automate data cleaning, why not automate resume tailoring? If GPT can analyze text, why can't it analyze job descriptions too? And the next day, I decided to just build my own job hunt system with three roles. Meet these roles now. Meet the agents whom I've assigned a role for each of these agents. The first agent is the researcher who reads the job post, extracts the requirements, and highlights key skills. The writer agent uses my actual career history to tailor a resume and a cover letter for that specific job. The reviewer, it critiques both for tone, clarity, and ATS readability. Now, together they become my little AI team. Let me walk you through how this works. First, I paste the job description into my researcher agent. It scans it for signals, not just keywords, but intent. For example, if the posting says cross functional collaboration 5 times, the agent infers that communication and teamwork are key. If it mentions SQL, Tableau, or Looker, it classifies the stack. Now it outputs a clean summary that looks like this. This role focuses on driving business insights using SQL and visualization tools. Collaboration and stakeholder storytelling are central. The company emphasizes experimentation and product growth. That's my researcher agent doing its job, cutting through the noise. And then the writer agent steps in, takes my resume data, stored in structured JSON, like job titles, accomplishments, metrics, and rewrites key sections to match the tone and the focus of the job. So instead of saying, let data analysis for marketing campaigns, it becomes collaborated with cross functional teams to drive experimentation insights, improving campaign ROI by 23%. It's subtle, but it speaks the language of the recruiter. Now, finally, the reviewer agent takes both the job description and the writer's output and scores everything for clarity, impact, and ATS compatibility. It flags cliches. It rewrites passive sentences, or even checks your formatting length. Now, in 90 seconds, I had what used to take me 90 minutes. So, let's look at part three, where I'm turning this process into a product. Once I had the agents working individually, I wanted them to work together. I wrote a small orchestration script, kind of like a relay race. So when I paste a new job, it triggers the researcher agent. Once the summary is ready, it hands that off to the writer. When the writer is done, the reviewer takes over. At the end, I get three files: a tailored resume, a personalized cover letter, and a short LinkedIn summary, all ready to review. Well, it was just magic. But more than that, it changed how I approached the job search emotionally. Before, every rejection felt personal, every application felt heavy. Now, it felt like data, like a test. Each rejection became a new iteration for the AI. Now, I started tracking patterns, which versions got callbacks, which tone landed better, which skills got flagged more often. Slowly, my AI system was learning me. Now, let's learn about the psychology of rejection. Let's take a pause as well, because this part really matters. Because job searching isn't just about the skill, it's about stamina. So when you've been rejected enough times, you start internalizing it because you start thinking, maybe I'm not just good enough. But here's what the AI taught me: rejection is just a data point. It's not feedback on your worth, it's feedback on your fit. I started to see my own job search like a growth model. If a post doesn't convert, it's not personal, it's a signal to tweak the system. And suddenly it wasn't about hope anymore, it was about iteration. AI gave me the distance from the emotional chaos, it gave me back control. Now let's see the human behind the code. But here's the funny part, right? The more I automated the process, the more human I felt, because automation didn't mean any detachment, it meant freedom. Now, when my AI handled the grunt work, I had time to actually research companies, to connect with people, to write thoughtful follow up messages, to reflect on which roles truly aligned with who I wanted to be. Now, in a strange way, my AI system gave me back the emotional energy that job searching had stolen. And somewhere in that process, I stopped chasing roles and started choosing them. And that's when I started seeing results. Like interviews came in, conversations became easier because I wasn't coming from desperation, I was coming from clarity. If there's one takeaway from this episode, it's this: automation should never replace your purpose. It should remove friction so that you can focus on it. My AI agents didn't get me the job, they gave me back the time and confidence to show up better. And they reminded me that efficiency isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. And if you're listening to this right now, in the middle of your own job search spiral. I see you. You're not lazy, you're not even lost. You're just human in a system that was never designed to make this easy. Maybe it's time to build your own system. Not a perfect one, not a fancy one, just one that helps you show up, one that helps you stay consistent, curious, and calm. And if that system includes AI, great. Because AI isn't the future of job hunting, agency is. And AI just helps you reclaim it. The new kind of teamwork that I want to talk about here is this is the story really. How I used three AI agents to fix my job hunt. Not because I wanted shortcuts, but because I needed structure. Like I said, AI didn't find me the job, it helped me find myself again in the process. And if you want to try building your own version, I'll drop my own in the show notes and how, it'll be like a job hunt companion for you using AI. And it's the same tool I used, be free and open for anyone who wants to make job searching a little less soul crushing. I'll also be attaching a blog on this link. So monitor this podcast in the next week, and you'll be getting a link to a blog as well with the full architecture, prompt chains, and sample outputs, even resume examples. Until then, keep learning, keep building, and don't let rejection define your direction. Just to give some more clarity on when the blog will be out, the plan is to release this episode on November 4th. So it'll be roughly a week from November 4th. And if you're listening this maybe in 2026, just know that this is November 4th, 2025, that I will be releasing this episode. So a week from November 4th is when you should expect the blog post out. I'm Mukundan, and this is Data and AI with Mukundan. See you next week.